So, you want to learn the dragon. First, I want you to think carefully. Do you actually want to learn the dragon? Because it requires dedication. And I want to give you the chance to turn back before you get dragged into his lair and peeled like a frozen tropical punch Capri Sun at a summertime 8 rules poolside birthday party. With that in mind, you should totally play the dragon. If you like dynamic positions, you like opening theory, you like crazy chess where both sides have attacking chances, you like playing slightly offbeat chess, and you like cool names. And you shouldn't play the dragon if you hate Yugoslavia, you don't like playing with a minimum center, you don't like being attacked, and you hate opening theory with your life. With that in mind, if you're still here, that means you're as crazy as I am, which means we can begin. This video is just going to be a general story about how the dragon developed and where we are today. And the theory will actually start next video. So on rewatches, you could probably skip this one. However, if this is your first time going through it, I recommend you stick around because it's very helpful when learning opening theory to know how we got to where we are. The dragon is defined by its body and its fire, where its body represents the kingside pawn structure resembling the Draco constellation, and the fire is the strong dark square bishop standing there menacingly inside the belly of the beast and leering across the entire board. These two features were first brought together. These two features were first brought together in June of 1883 by Henry Bird, and from then forward it began to gain traction, peaking in around the 1930s and 40s, where it was one of the most trendy lines to play against e4. However, in the 1950s, it began to lose some of that traction as the dreaded Yugoslav was invented. If the dragon is defined by its body and its fire, then the Yugoslav is defined by stabbing the dragon directly through the heart. It is the most challenging opening against the dragon, and to this day is almost a refutation. You see, up until the 1950s, White had played with just about the same plan as he always had since the late 1800s, wherein you develop both knights, you develop the light-squared bishop, you castle kingside, and you set forth in a pretty civilized positional battle against black. The Yugoslav flushes that all down the proverbial toilet and asks the very reasonable question, why are we trying to duel a dragon? Why don't we make like a Bosnian ape and fire an RT-2PM2 Topol M cold-launched 3-stage solid propellant silo-based intercontinental ballistic missile at the opponent? The answer, it turns out, is, why didn't we think of this earlier? Now, rather than the slower positional battles of yesteryear, black has to deal with a brutal assault on his kingside for the entire game. This, combined with the rise of better Sicilians like the Najdorf, has kind of put black in a rough spot. And so you don't see it that often at the top level. There are a few specialists, and games are played here and there every once in a while, but altogether it's pretty rare. It went from the cornerstone of ambitious black theory to just being another mid-tier Sicilian line. Though downed, the dragon still has a lot of fight in it. Computer theory has been helping black more than white recently, and every time white finds a new way of attacking, black finds a new way of defending. And even if white knows all their theory, they still end up in a tightrope position where one misstep leaves them charred and broken. In the next video, our theoretical journey starts with some of the more closed positions, where white moves their queen pawn up a space to d3, and plays for a more slow advance, sometimes with f4, pushing flank pawns. The video after that will deal with what are called anti-Sicilians, which are basically ways white tries to be clever and avoid all the theory. But oftentimes there are ways to play around it, even if they're not immediately obvious. And then the 3 videos after that are going to deal with the Yugoslav attack proper, because there are 3 main lines white can deal with, and so each one warrants its own video. The goal of this entire course is to put you in a position where you know the basic fundamentals of the Sicilian dragon and the Sicilian in general, and then also you're prepared to do your own studying and do your own research and grow in your opening knowledge. This is going to be complete repertoire for the black pieces, but it will require work because, like any opening that's interesting, it requires work for both sides. I can't promise that you'll get a super high win rate, although in my experience that has come with time. But I can promise that you'll get interesting chess, and that every once in a while you'll get a pretty crazy game that you have a good chance of winning. Pieces to play against the king's pawn opening. hindsight 2020, I probably should have disabled follow notifications.